This is the Zenfox U1, a true 4K front and 1080p rear dash cam. Now with well over a month of testing under my belt, let's take a look and see if this camera is smoking hot or rather not. Inside the box is all the cabling that's needed to get started. A memory card, however, is not supplied, and my suggestions for those are in the description. There's also a USB Type-C cable for plugging the camera into the computer, an SD card reader, some mounting clips, and extra stickers. Only one mount is included, which is a sticky GPS mount. The camera itself is a mix of glossy and matte plastic that looks pretty handsome. It's actually a little bit smaller than it looks in the pictures, which is a good thing because it fits behind the rear view mirror on the passenger side. It's not super low profile like a wedge-shaped camera, but it is relatively hidden unless you're looking for it specifically. Control buttons line the bottom of the camera, and there are two USB Type-C ports, one for the rear camera and another one for power on the mount. The rear camera cable is really thick, which could make clean wiring this camera a little bit difficult, but for the most part, the wiring is installed the same way as any other dash cam. Just stick it to the windshield behind the rear view mirror, run the cables around the top of the windshield, down behind the side trim, and the rear cable goes over top of the doors and into the back. The camera automatically starts and stops recording with the car, but it does not continue recording when the car is powered off unless you hardwire it or have an additional battery backup. Okay, video sample time. Let's quickly get some good news out of the way. This camera did not have any noticeable overheating issues. After running for an hour, it was comfortable to the touch, and removing the memory card after recording, the card was kinda hot, but not burning. We'll get into additional camera comparisons in a little bit, but needless to say, it smashes my main camera, the Outtro A129 Duo, which is a 1080p front and rear. Respectfully, it's rather smashed by the more expensive Outtro A129 Pro, which has 4K on the front and 1080p rear. Zenfox falls right in the middle of these two pricing-wise, so that does make sense. And honestly, it's not so much an issue with the camera itself, it's sensor or processor or anything software-wise. Overall, the video quality is relatively competent. It's vibrant, colorful, and has moderate license plate readability. The little tiny, slightly nitpicky issue that I saw with this camera is in lens focus. Everything's just a little bit soft, just a touch out of focus. In fact, I had two U1s. The first one I got was pretty severely out of focus on one side, and Zenfox sent a replacement. And then, unfortunately, the replacement was even a little bit soft. The camera, from my perspective, appears to be focused too close to my car, where my headlights here along the bottom are just tack sharp. While distance things, even license plates more than about 20 or 30 feet away, seem to be a little bit dull. This in itself is the sole reason why the Zenfox U1 is smashed by the A129 Pro. Lens sharpness on that camera is much, much higher, making license plates more readable, street signs more readable, yeah, etc. If you're watching this on a small screen, there's a chance that you wouldn't have even seen the soft focus until I brought it up. For example, if this footage is downsized to 1080p, comparison between this camera and the A129 standard, the Zenfox utterly smashes the original A129 with front video quality. The reality is a law of photography where the Zenfox has more pixels, more ability to create detail, but that also means more room for error. Any small variation or off-centering of the lens will show up much more predominantly on a camera that has 4K resolution versus a 1080p. And to be quite frank, my A129 Duo even tends to go a little bit out of focus when it's running hot in the summer. The Zenfox though, front camera wise, totally capable of capturing some brilliantly sharp video. Like in my original one where the lens was off-centered, the right hand side of the video was tack sharp, with excellent license plate readability, but again, that was on the right hand side. I try to watch most of my video clips in full size on my 49-inch monitor so I can pixel peep and look real close and hurt my eyes a little bit. So this all might sound nitpicky, and that's because, quite frankly, it is. Most people watching on a laptop monitor or a smartphone or even a smaller computer screen would likely not notice this difference in sharpness or just think it was, well, normal. Rear video now, it's 1080p at 30 frames per second, and this is more where I expected this camera to be at this price point. Nice and sharp, but maybe not the highest level of license plate readability, especially at speed. Parked or stopped? Yeah, no problem reading license plates, especially ones that are close up to you like the car that's following behind you. And low light, well, not much to say about it. It's on point. Under streetlights, it's bright and vibrant, where you can tell the make and model of more or less any car around you. In a pitch black situation, it picks up a hell of a lot of light. In fact, I was surprised that you can see the road lines here, especially given how bright the car following me is. This is pretty remarkable, even though it is super duper noisy. Now let's take a quick look at some side-by-side footage samples set to wonderful, royalty-free, no copyright music. The next section is marked as a chapter, so if you do want to skip ahead, click below. User interface is fairly straightforward on camera, and I do recommend setting it up through the app if you can get the app working. Let's talk about the app quick. Well, from my experience on two different phones, Samsung and a OnePlus, worked just fine. A lot of dashcam apps have really bad reviews, and I think that is because many phones will automatically disconnect from the dashcam's Wi-Fi when they detect that it does not have internet access. If the phone is forced to stay on that Wi-Fi network, works great. Connection is steady, video has live preview, and it's easy to change all the settings from a touchscreen. I even prefer to use the app to line up the camera and make sure that it's level with the horizon. Even though this camera does have a bigger screen, it's easier to see on a phone. And overall conclusion, well, Zenfox, yeah, you got a decent camera here. Aside from the softness of video, it was very good video quality overall, easy to use, and if you get one, just make sure that you check it's in focus. You should do this test with any camera that you buy, really. Make sure that it's in focus, it's recording properly, it likes your memory card, everything good to go, then yeah. Thanks for watching. I hope this video was educational and told you a bit about the Zenfox U1. Video quality from dashcams is constantly improving, and it's pretty crazy that they can get 4K at this price point. If you like this video and want to see more like it, I've got a whole ton of action cam and dashcam reviews on my channel. Give me a subscribe, thumbs up, comment, and hope to see you again soon.